Welcome to next session on discrete time Fourier transform. In the last lecture, we were going through some properties of discrete time Fourier transform. Some simple properties we have finished, and we were about to deal with two major properties for which some derivation is essential. So, that is the discrete time Fourier transform of convolution of two sequences and discrete time Fourier transform of product of two sequences. So, we shall go to that just after some time, before which we finish few simple properties. One of them is time reversal. What do you mean by time reversal? If we have a sequence xn, we take its mirror image around 0, vertical axis around 0. So, if xn is the original sequence, then we can say that new sequence x1n is x of minus n, is x of minus n, x1 is equal to x of minus n. So, if we know that xn is getting transformed to x of omega, then this x1n will be transformed, x1n will be getting transformed directly to say x1 of omega. We want to know what is the relationship between x1 omega and x omega. It is quite simple. We are just dealing it with, because one should not say that no, it was not covered. So, what is x1 omega? Simple, x1 omega is equal to, by always we keep in one thing in mind, that we start with first principles like derivatives. That is called ab initio in what we can say some standard terminology. N equal to minus infinity to infinity x1n e raised to minus j omega n. So, what we can do, that is equal to n equal to minus infinity to infinity. What is x1n? We know x1n is equal to x of minus n, time reversed. So, x of minus n e raised to minus j omega n. What is this? So, this we get somewhat confused. How do we deal with it? So, what we do, it's we want, what is x omega? X omega is summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n. So, this is x omega. Here some problem seems to have arisen. Some problem seems to have arisen. It is very simple, but we must prove it in a standard terminology. How? So, I keep this formula on left on this in this pool, that is x of omega is summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e raised to minus j omega n, is what x omega is. Means x omega is weighted sum over entire n of input sequence xn and a weight sequence which is of the type e raised to minus j omega n. So, here this we are very much conservative, means once you get experience you can simply go and do quick calculations, but a teacher should not assume them while discussing it in the class. Therefore, we go by a simple method. We make two substitutions. What substitutions do we make? We make two substitutions as m equal to minus n, m equal to minus n. So, what will happen? Limits will change infinity to minus infinity, but since summation is commutative, it does not matter much whether m is from infinity to minus infinity or minus infinity to infinity. So, even though we change it, we keep it as it is, m equal to, it is actually infinity to minus infinity, but we say both are same. So, why to bother about it? So, we keep it like this by knowing what we are doing. Then minus n is m, x of m e raised to minus j omega and n is minus m. So, it is just like again m is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of m e raised to j omega m. So again problem has come, because we are very much conservative in the sense we know that these two things are very alike, but you do not conclude. Yeah, I do agree, yes, instead of n, m is there, wherever n is there is m, no problem, but there is a negative sign here and negative sign not there. So what that is? So this I cannot say as x omega. Then what can I say? Then I will say, if I, so now I simply deal with this term, what this term is. So this is not so important, x1 omega is not important. What I want, I have come to know that the discrete time Fourier transform of what I can say, I am just explaining everything so that no confusion. X of minus n is getting transformed to something like this, x of m e raised to j omega m. So what this is? So this I can say, and for m equal to minus infinity to infinity. Now I can put another this substitution not required, but simply you should not ask any question, I am doing it. So I will put theta equal to minus omega, theta equal to minus omega. So what is x of n's dtft? So what this term is? Summation m equal to minus infinity to infinity x of m e raised to minus j theta m. So this I can say as x of theta, x of minus n getting transformed to dtft x of theta. But what is theta? Theta we know that we put theta equal to minus omega, so we put it again minus omega. So the simple thing is that if you time reverse, discrete time Fourier transform of x of minus n is simply dtft, you take x omega and wherever omega is there put minus omega. So for n you put minus n, for omega you put minus omega. It is so simple, but to prove it in standard manner we have to go through all these things. It is a classical derivation. Then next thing, which is again very simple, that is one more property. We shall finish that and then we shall move to convolution and multiplication, and then we have to go for applications of DTFT where it is really meaningful, and DTFT and discrete time systems relationship. So we go for now, we have xn getting transformed to x omega. Then what would be transform of nxn? So we find it out, but if you are not so quick in derivations, there is one simple straightforward, may somebody call it a very highly cautious strategy. Best strategy is, we call this as x1n equal to, then x1n will have some x1 omega. We want to establish what is the relationship between this and this. So we go by standard method, x1 omega is equal to summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity x1n e raised to minus j omega n, that is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity n xn e raised to minus j omega n, n xn e raised to minus j omega n. So what this n xn corresponds to? N xn corresponds to, this is x1 omega. This is x1 omega. So n has come there in the summation inside, so n can't be brought out. Here now what is the problem? Problem is n is inside, outside it is sum over n. So this n we can't remove, this xn we can't remove, this e raised to minus j omega n we can't remove. All these terms are having n there, so they can't be removed at all. So now in fact we do not have the liberty of live classroom where you should be put in captive for some time and asked to find out the solution. So this is something for which time is a solution, means when you are told to rigorously work on it by all possible methods, then there is a chance that you will get something into it. Now by normal way it seems that there are some difficulties, means I am not getting the exact way with which now what I want somehow I want it to be related to x omega. So somehow only this should be there and this or something else should come out, so that I can call it as something connected to x omega that I can do. So here the forward way does not seem to be immediately available. So what we do is on this forward way, how to find the DTFT, you try to think over it. There is a weekend now, so in the weekend you can think on your own, but since we have to also finish the things and there is no point in keeping it on the back burner, today we shall cover it by reverse. That is also a method. So that is something now, the research which was done few years back, few decades back, that time there was no such free flow of information. Therefore when someone was stuck up, there was no need to go forward unless he on his own solves it. Now if you are stuck up, then you will also need to think how much time I will spend time. Then next thing what you can do, you can go with, in the lockdown period Google is the big teacher, so you go on Google search, find out the answer. Then at least what you can do is, after you find out the answer, try to cross check whether you can get the answer back, or get the answer back is much ahead, but at least is it the answer. So we go, so finding answer is now homework, weekend homework as an assignment. Now we go for tallying the answer. So answer what we have is this answer, that is if xn gets transformed to x omega, then x1n which is nxn, dtft of nxn is j d x omega d omega. That is derivative property of DTFT. Derivative multiplied by j, derivative multiplied by j is nxn. Derivative, when we find derivative of DTFT, then and multiplied by j is nxn, or derivative of DTFT is nx, derivative of DTFT is derivative of DTFT of xn is DTFT of nxn upon j. Listen carefully, derivative of DTFT of x omega, derivative of x omega is DTFT of nxn upon j. I again repeat, it is, you need to understand it very clearly. I am repeating in slow speed. If xn is transformed to x omega, if x omega is DTFT of xn, then differential of x omega or x dash omega we can say, in other words, then x dash omega is DTFT of something nxn upon j. DTFT x dash omega that is derivative of x omega is dtft of n xn upon z, or in other words dtft of n xn is z gets multiplied on the other side. So, dtft of n xn is z into derivative of x omega. So, what we want to prove? We will prove that derivative of dtft is dtft of n xn upon z. Listen very carefully. X omega is dtft of xn, then derivative of dtft of xn is dtft of n xn upon z. How? We can just have a simple cross check. We will be using it by some approximations, may not be exact classical discussion because that will be very much time consuming. So, what is xn? dtft is x omega. n xn, its dtft is summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity n x n e raised to minus j omega n. And what is x omega? X omega, this is dtft of n xn, or we can say x1 n is equal to this. So, this is x1 omega. Now, x omega is what? X omega is summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity x n e raised to minus j omega n, e raised to minus j omega n. Now, what is said? Derivative. So, this we keep it on this side, just it's dtft dt, or we don't do anything now. We are told to have reverse engineering. So, in reverse engineering what do we do? We find x dash omega. What is x dash omega? Derivative of this is d by d omega of n equal to minus infinity to infinity xn e raised to minus j omega n. Now, we use some identity which you might be aware in standard 11 12th. What is the identity? That whether operations are derivative and summation are commutative. Summation is with respect to n and derivative is with respect to omega. So, there is no harm. So, this x dash omega is equal to derivative of summation. We are finding derivative of x omega, that is x dash omega. Derivative of summation is summation of derivatives n omega, n minus infinity d by d omega of xn e raised to minus j omega n. So, it becomes simple now. Why? Because in derivative column, in derivative we have term xn which has nothing to do with omega. So, that comes out as a constant. So, that is now we are answer is coming near to us, n equal to minus infinity to infinity xn d by d omega of e raised to minus j omega n is e raised to minus j omega n upon e raised to minus j omega n, not upon, sorry, we are in integration frame. So, it is e raised to minus j omega n into minus j n, right. So, what is x dash omega? I write again, x dash omega is equal to n equal to minus infinity to infinity minus j n x n minus j n x n e raised to minus j omega n. Now, I multiply numerator and denominator by j. So, when I multiply numerator, it is j square j square is minus 1 and minus 1, so it is 1 and upon j. So n is equal to minus infinity to infinity n x n upon j e raised to minus j omega n. So what is this? So I can say that x dash omega, that is derivative of x omega, is dtft of this sequence, which I can say x1n. Derivative of dtft is dtft of n xn upon j. So what I can say, that if x1n is equal to n xn upon j, then its dtft is x dash omega, or we can say as d by d omega of x omega, right? And then by using linearity property, if I say that x1n is j is here, I can go take it on the other side also. So if my sequence x1n is n xn, then j d by d omega of x omega, that is j times derivative of dtft is dtft of n xn. So it is the second property, that is differentiation in frequency domain. So what is the property? J times derivative of dtft is dtft of n into original sequence. Xn's dtft is x omega. So j times derivative of x omega is dtft of n into original sequence. I hope that we gave some more time than it deserved, but anyway, we have not infinite but ample time. Now we go for two very fundamental derivations. First we go for convolution property, because that is important, many times it is required. Multiplication in time domain is not normally required, because we do not have such functions normally in analog side. In analog side we do not have multipliers, maybe by using log and log we do it, but not so frequently. So we are considering both, but out of them important is convolution property. So x1n, one more thing is that what we do is that in standard books we do not use x1 x2, because sometimes it happens so that while deriving there is a chance that you may make some simple oversight mistake of 1 and 2. So instead of x1, what do they do? They use h and g and h. Gn is one sequence whose dtft is g omega. Hn is other sequence whose dtft is h omega. Then Gn and Hn are two sequences. Suppose if now I prepare another sequence as Yn, which is convolution of Gn and Hn, convol Gn and Hn, then this Yn will also be transformed to something, it will be y omega. So what we want, what is the relationship between y omega and how y omega is to be found out from g omega and h omega. So we want the dtft of convolution of two sequences. Two sequences are there, we convolve them, convolution is most of the times needed in our discrete time systems, and we go for its dtft. So we go by again simple method. First, y omega is equal to n equal to minus infinity to infinity yn, which is Gn convolved with Hn. So what is Gn convolved with Hn? We need to have one k, we need to use k as an index, and then we need to use, it is summation over k, it is gk h of n minus k, or either way also, because it is convolution commutative, h of n minus k e raised to minus j omega k, because it is, sorry, not this here, this conversion is stopped, e raised to minus j omega n. Is it seen? Is it seen? So y omega is summation over n, summation over k, gk h of n minus k is convolution, and dtft, that is multiplied by e raised to minus j omega n. Now how do we proceed? Because there are two summations. Then replace, we need to substitute something in an interesting manner, that is, this we want to get rid of somehow, we want some simple thing. So let m equal to n minus k, let m is equal to n minus k, let m is equal to n minus k. So what we will do, we will remove n minus k and we will remove n also, and so this n minus k, so m comes here, n comes here, m comes here, one term, this n will replace, this n will replace. So let m be n minus k, then n is equal to m plus k, and since limits are infinity, since limits of both are infinite on both sides, any kind of substitution of variables do not change the limit. If limits were not infinity, such substitution would not have helped. If limits were not infinite, such substitution would not have helped. So with this now, how the term will become? Y omega is equal to, I think we create more space. So y omega is equal to, what is, n is m plus k, n is m plus k, m is n minus k. So limit over n, we now change to limit over m, there is no problem, m equal to minus infinity to infinity, internal limit is same, k equal to minus infinity to infinity, gk hm e raised to minus j omega m plus k, minus j omega m plus k. So we go step by step, we do not rush around. This is summation. So what I write it again, we go in a patient way. E raised to minus j omega m or minus j omega k into minus j omega m, either way, right. So we take all steps so that you understand it very clearly. Now this is double summation, summation, this summation. Now what can we do? If we look at the internal summation, it is summation over k, it is summation over k. So the terms which do not contain k are constants for that summation. So whether when we are having summation over k, something which does not contain k can be brought out from in or in from out by multiplication or division. So what will come out? That is, listen very carefully, m equal to minus infinity to infinity, this summation sign is there, hm and e raised to minus j omega m, hm and e raised to minus j omega m have no relation with k, e raised to minus j omega m, and then it will be inside, k equal to minus infinity to infinity, gk, and now we are coming close, e raised to minus j omega k and whole. So we rewrite again, let us be very much patient. So now what we can look at? We can look at the big expression where the I will have another separate bracket here, internal bracket. So, the thing in red bracket is what? A sequence over k multiplied by weights of e raised to minus j omega k summed over entire k. Weighted sum of the given sequence over entire range. This is DTFT. So, this I can say as g omega. So, I rewrite again m equal to minus infinity to infinity hm, no need of this bracket now, hm e raised to minus j omega m, and this inside bracket is g omega, that is the DTFT of the first function g omega. Now, this DTFT of the first function is independent of m. DTFT of the first function is independent of m, so that comes out as g omega outside. This is the expression of y omega, and summation inside m equal to minus infinity to infinity hm e raised to minus j omega m. And now, just like things are unfolding as we desired, that now the green bracketed thing is summation of hm multiplied by weights, weighted sum of hm over infinite m. So, this is h omega, this is DTFT of hm. So, this is, so y omega is g omega into this, whereas this is h omega. So, y omega is g omega into h omega. That is, if we have got convolution of input sequences, then DTFT of convolution of input sequences is product or multiplication of DTFTs. DTFT of convolution is multiplication of DTFTs, is very clear. Now, we go with the remaining theorem, that is, what is DTFT of multiplication? This is also called as modulation, some standard terminology in properties. Otherwise, we will discuss multiplication, and if you somewhere you face the question what is DTFT of modulation, then you would be blank. It should not be so. Multiplication is also called as a modulation property. So, we have a simple thing again, we go by first principles. So, what we have is, we have again we use h and g. So, we have hn, we have gn, hn DTFT is h omega, gn DTFT is g omega. Then, if we have yn is equal to hn sample to sample multiplication, what is its DTFT? It is DTFT y omega is equal to what means in the sense in terms of h omega and g omega relationship. So, how do you proceed for that? That is again by first principle. We had discussed in the last time, y omega is equal to summation hn gn e raised to minus j omega n, n is equal to minus infinity to infinity. Now, we are somewhat stuck up here, that last time also we were stuck up. We do not see a solution in the site. So, we have to go by some different technique. The different technique is, think one of them as, Gn is there, Hn is there. Hn's DTFT we know, Gn's DTFT we know. So, the sequence, instead of considering on its own, consider it as inverse of its DTFT. Are you getting me? Sequences we have, those are transformable, their DTFTs exist. The question of non-existence of DTFT we will also discuss, and what are the remedies for that. we will go through it. So we have not yet gone through some examples which will go immediately after this, but right now when DTFTs exist, so we have Hn and Gn. Now what we do, we consider one of them as, instead of sequence, it's very easy. Suppose if that you are there and you are there in a mirror, you are there, there is one more mirror and there is another mirror. So you can say that I am very specific, just I am giving an example so that you understand it clearly. So I am looking exactly like the mirror image of my mirror image. If mirror image there is inversion. So how do you look like? The answer is, I am exactly looking like the mirror image of my mirror image. I hope you understand. So similarly, replace one of them, you are at liberty, replace one of them as, what is Hn? I can say Hn is inverse DTFT of H omega. Hn is inverse DTFT of H omega. So I replace Hn by inverse DTFT of H omega. So what is this now? Summation n equal to minus infinity to infinity. What is Hn? 1 upon 2 pi integration minus pi to pi H omega e raised to j omega n into Gn e raised to minus j omega n. So this is bracket, right? So Hn we have put as or I go by this also we can do, but in the book there is a reverse way. So in order to ensure that you should not confuse, I go by reverse way. So what in the book, it is not wrong, for kind information it is not wrong, but merely because there is no point in, when both are correct, it is better that we follow the thing which is otherwise accessible to you. So Hn is as it is, and you replace it as 1 upon 2 pi I DTFT of Gn, g omega, that is g omega e raised to j omega n e raised to j omega n. Now there is a problem, this is a very typical problem. What is the problem now? Problem here, and one more thing is remained, that is d omega. This is when you found convolution, in that why you use hk. So here since omega is under use here, using omega here also is not appropriate. So we use g theta e raised to, means one variable what we use should not be same variable. If that is so, if it is like this, because it is, we are integrating, what will happen? Here it is integrating over theta, and is some more. If we use same omega, then we cannot go for the reversion of order of summation and integration. So what is I DTFT? I DTFT is 1 upon 2 pi integration of DTFT e raised to j n and the term over which you are integrating. So omega you can take any variable. So DTFT is nothing but the transform of a discrete sequence into continuous function of any variable, not necessarily omega. So since if you use both things in this, then you will not be getting answer. So we have taken the thing theta. So once we take the thing theta now, what is the interesting thing is that this 1 upon 2 pi instantly can come out, 1 upon 2 pi instantly can come out. this term is nothing to do with d and d theta and d theta. This term has nothing to do with theta, so it can come inside. 1 upon 2 pi goes directly outside, there is no place here, no need here. Summation over n equal to minus infinity to infinity h n integration of g theta e raised to j theta n e raised to j, so this was minus, this is e raised to minus j omega n d theta. Now this h n also can come inside, no problem, because this has nothing, this limits are for theta, n has nothing to do with theta, omega has nothing to do with theta. So this would be, listen very carefully, 1 upon 2 pi summation over n integration, integration is not integral over pi minus pi to pi. Here also I made a mistake in writing, minus pi to pi g theta, this hn could have remained outside also, there is no purpose is served by putting hn inside. So I will make it clear first, hn integration minus pi to pi g theta, this is e raised to minus into bracket j into bracket omega minus theta n d theta. This is e raised to like this. Now what we can have, this is the thing. Now we can interchange the order of summation and integration. We can interchange. Now this we can also take inside, so no problem. So this we can take here, minus pi to pi. Now we can interchange the order of summation and integration. If we interchange the order of summation and integration, what we will get? One upon 2 pi minus pi to pi summation h n g theta e raised to minus j omega minus theta n d theta, right. So we need to go through this and find the final. So actually everything is very clear here, only thing is that everything is correct, answer is there, but we are unable to, we do not have that vision which sees the answer there. Just like few days in the last lecture I said that there is one person, there is one notorious person, and the person says, oh, what good qualities you have, because the person can see the good qualities there. So unless you have vision, you do not see the answer here. So there is no need to change anything, everything is correct. Just we make few things, that 1 upon 2 pi is all right, minus pi to pi is all right. This g theta has nothing to do with n, so g theta comes out, and what remains is n equal to minus infinity to infinity h n e raised to minus j omega minus theta d theta. D theta. So what is this? Hn, and n is there, sorry. Hn e raised to minus j something into n. So it is the dTft computed for omega minus theta. You can't compute it, it is theta, and for same variable you can't compute because it is inside. So in convolution also, when we were asked to convolve when you were asked to convolve xn and yn, so how do we convolve? Or when we convolve xn and hn, how do we convolve? Yn is equal to, we can't take summation over n, we have to take summation over k, and then we put hk x of n minus k. This is convolution. In convolution, we have to put summation over k equal to minus infinity to infinity hk x of n minus k. It is looking like same thing now. Instead of k, theta is there. Instead of n, omega is there. Instead of k, theta is there. Instead of n, omega is there. N omega k theta k theta. So this is just nothing but 1 upon 2 pi minus pi to pi g theta. This I say as h omega minus theta d theta. It is just like convolution which we had discussed in the first semester when we were discussing about simple RC circuit. When we discussed simple RC circuit, that time we had discussed. So this is called as convolution integral. So this is if Hn is transformed into h omega, Gn is transformed into g omega, then their product gets transformed into something which is convolution of g and h. So theta and omega. So when you put this entirely and when we integrate over theta, theta goes and it is the final expression in terms of omega. So when we put it, theta goes and it is finally in the terms of h omega. So in terms of omega. So this we can. So I think the transformation of product or multiplication or modulation is convolution integral of transforms. I will explain these two things once again in Marathi. दोन सिक्वेन्सेस आहेत, त्यांचे दोन ट्रान्सफॉर्म्स आहेत. दोन सिक्वेन्सेस आहेत, त्याचे प्रत्येकी एक एक असे DTFTs आहेत. त्या दोन सिक्वेन्स मी कन्व्हर्जन केलं तर कन्व्होल्यूशनचा ट्रान्सफॉर्म म्हणजे ट्रान्सफॉर्मचं कन्व्होल्यूशन. कन्व्होल्यूशनचा ट्रान्सफॉर्म सॉरी कन्व्होल्यूशन ट्रान्सफॉर्म म्हणजे ट्रान्सफॉर्मचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन. म्हणजे GN चे ट्रान्सफॉर्म्स आहे जी ओमेगा एच ओमेगा. तर GN कन्व्हॉल्व विथ HN घेतलं तर त्याचा ट्रान्सफॉर्म येतो जी ओमेगा आणि एच ओमेगाचा प्रॉडक्ट ऑर मल्टिप्लिकेशन. कन्व्होल्यूशनचा ट्रान्सफॉर्म म्हणजे ट्रान्सफॉर्मचं मल्टिप्लिकेशन आणि मल्टिप्लिकेशनचा ट्रान्सफॉर्म म्हणजे ट्रान्सफॉर्मचं कन्व्होल्यूशन. इज इट क्लियर? DTFT of convolution of sequences is product of DTFTs of individual sequences. That is, DTFT of convolution is multiplication of DTFTs and DTFT of multiplication is convolution of DTFTs, right? So I hope that the concept is substantially clear. So by now what we have discussed? By now we have discussed what is DTFT, how it arose from the two concepts of discrete time cosine transform and discrete time sine transform, how to find DTFT, what is invertibility, how to find inverse, then what is interpretation of DTFT, that is what by knowing x omega what do I mean, that is very important, that we found out. Then we discussed various properties of DTFT, linearity is very simple, time shift, then the two simple things, that is differentiation, then time reversal, then convolution and modulation, So these various properties we had discussed. Now there is one more, that is frequency shift, means this I leave it as a, I will give some hint and leave it as a homework. So it is just complementary of time shift, means what? Sample shift we can say. Xn I have, its DTFT is x omega. Then what is DTFT of x of n minus n naught? It is e raised to minus j omega n naught x omega. Now its complementary property. What complementary property is? Suppose if I compute x, I compute DTFT and I put, instead of omega, I put omega minus omega naught. I put omega minus omega naught. It has to be DTFT of something. This you take as a drill problem, which you can convert. Is the idea clear? Xn gets transformed into x omega. Suppose if I shift xn by n naught. So x of n minus n, a sequence generated by shifting the original sequence, gets transformed into original DTFT multiplied by e raised to minus j omega n naught. Similarly, if this is input sequence transform, if I shift the sequence, transform gets converted like this with respect to original transform. If I have this transform, if I shift this transform, this is DTFT of what? It's a very reverse question asked in the reverse way. मराठीत सांगतो. दिलेला सिक्वेन्स DTFT आहे, तो सिक्वेन्स शिफ्ट केला तर DTFT आणि मूळ DTFT मध्ये काय रिलेशन असेल? तसं दिलेला सिक्वेन्स आहे DTFT आहे, त्या DTFT शिफ्ट केला तर शिफ्ट केला DTFT आणि मूळ सिक्वेन्सचं काय रिलेशन असेल? म्हणजे शिफ्ट केला DTFT हा कशाचा DTFT असेल आणि तो आणि मूळ सिक्वेन्स मध्ये काय असेल? सो नाउ इफ this is shifted DTFT, let this shifted DTFT be, let this shifted function, this is xn, its DTFT is x omega. I shifted x omega, so x of x minus x omega is some function. X of x minus omega is some function. I will call it as y of omega. So y omega is x of omega minus omega naught. I created a new function which is a continuous periodic function y omega. Then this y omega will be DTFT of something. Let it be of yn. So the question is how xn and yn are related. Is it clear? So I have a sequence, I find DTFT, I shift DTFT by putting omega equal to omega naught, that is y omega. This y omega is expected to be DTFT of something. Let it be yn. Then what is the relationship between xn and yn? This you take as a homework. 2 days are there. I will be putting some more assignments in Google Classroom, and when we meet on Monday, we will discuss the further things. I hope it is too much exhaustive today. Let us stop now.